everybody, today's video I am going to be doing a question and answer. So you guys sent me some questions on Instagram and Facebook, and I am going to basically take the time out to answer them. I wanted to ask if you had a great suggestion for songs for a fashion show. I would say that every show that I've modeled in and the show that I styled recently and did had upbeat music. You want to choose music that goes with the vision behind the show that you have. So even if the song that you want to use that fits the vision is slow, you can find remixes. You can look up on YouTube or SoundCloud and find remixes to the song. And that way you can, have a song that you like, but it's more upbeat and suitable for the show. That's what I did. I'll link you down below. I will link in the description box the playlist that I actually use for the show, and possibly that can give you an idea of what you can do. I like a lot of my pictures. I like a lot of the quotes I post. I like a lot of the family. I like a lot of pictures I post with my friends and family and stuff like that. I'll just go. Okay, how about this? My picture with Oprah. That's my favorite. Do you know how to make bean soup? Yes, I know how to make bean soup. That's so funny and so random. But, yeah, I do. This is kind of one of the main things I make. I'm responsible for pretty much cooking for myself, period. My parents kind of have the mentality like, you're grown, like, you out your mind if you think somebody's gonna be cooking for you all the time. And what I've done is I do meal prep. So I cook my stuff in the beginning of the week, usually Sunday or Monday, and Monday really, on Mondays, and I'll make a big pot of bean soup. I'll cut up some fruit and stuff like that for my dessert. I'll make bread from the bread, sometimes salad, and that way I ration it out in my mason jars and my containers, and that way for the rest of the week I have my food to eat. So I come home from school, come home from work, come home from whatever I'm doing, and my food is already pretty much cooked. All I have to do is warm it up and eat it. So that really works for me. But yeah, back to your question. I think my bean soup is good. I love my bean soup, but sibling, I've started to have to make more because like a double portion, because my siblings, like, they'll eat it all, and I'm like, that's my meal prep. What you mean? So yeah, so that's good, because my sister doesn't even like bean soup, so the fact that she really likes it is like, that must be a good sign. What inspires you? God inspires me. I understand that my whole journey here in life is to become one with Him, so that pursuit inspires me. The idea that my actions, could bring me closer to Him inspires me. The fact that my actions could inspire someone else to the desire to grow closer to Him inspires me. The idea that my actions could help change the world and bring forth a new world inspires me. My family inspires me. 3 men inspire me. These 3 men inspire me. Oh my God. Where do you see yourself taking Modest Fashion? I see myself contributing to the modest fashion movement, because it is very much so a movement. An amazing designer by being an amazing speaker and inspiration. I desire to, host amazing fashion shows to help encourage modest fashion. I desire to host nice, very inspiring and encouraging presentations and workshops on beauty, self-esteem, modesty, and modest fashion. I desire to have a beautiful clothing line that a lot of girls and women love. That's where I see myself taking it. I see myself helping to make modest fashion young and vibrant and cool. What are some of your short and long-term goals? Okay, so I have a ton of short-term goals. I have a ton of long-term goals. So I'm going to, and some of them are personal, so I don't necessarily want to share. So I will list 4 for each one, for short-term and long-term. So 4 of my long-term goals are a fashion designer, to reach many girls and women. I want to touch the world, y'all. To be an amazing wife to a super dope and awesome, inspiring, purpose-filled, driven man. Inshallah, God willing. Yeah, so being an outstanding mom to those, you know, beautiful, brilliant children. My 4 short-term goals are: 1, to have an amazing, productive summer. That includes growing my YouTube, growing my fashion blog, having a great internship. I currently have like a summer business internship. And my 4th one, let's say short term, will be to become more mindful. When did you decide that you wanted to become a fashion designer? I decided that I wanted to become a fashion designer officially become a fashion designer the summer before my 11th grade year. The last question is, what is your relationship with God like? Details. My relationship with God, what is that like? Gosh, how do you explain that? Okay. I think the best way for me to explain it is that I am conscious of him. So he is my father, and he is guiding my footsteps, he is guiding my path, and I'm following. Your whole life should be about becoming one with God, right? So I feel myself on this path to become one with him. You know, I strive, I make forward steps when I pray, when I, give in charity, when I fast, believe in him, put my faith in him, etc., etc. That would be the best thing. Like I see his hand in my life on a very daily, moment to moment basis. Like, I strive to follow my heart all of the time. So it's like, this what my intuition is telling me. Is this the move I should make? Should I go here? Should I do this? Is this right? Am I doing this right? And constantly questioning myself and my intention, and striving to listen to his voice as opposed to everyone else's voice. So just being, that's how I would describe our relationship. It's like, he's my father and I'm a child of God, and I'm just striving my best to like listen and follow him. Do I make steps backwards? All of the time. All of the time. Like, I go backwards all the time by making mistakes and doing things wrong and stuff like that. But I know that. Like, I know, even with that, like, I know that I'm wrong. And so, it's just, life is a constant battle between being right and like trying to turn yourself right and turn yourself right and turn yourself right and move forward on the path and move forward on the path. And so that's the best way I would describe our relationship. I'm very conscious of God. What does having a close relationship with God look like? When you become one with him, when people see you, they see God in you. That's how I would describe it. That's the goal. When people see you, when people talk to you, when people know you, when people are in your presence, they are in the presence of God. And that is the goal. The question is, how do you balance schoolwork with studying the teachings? I think that this is a really, really good question. Now, I, under no circumstances, am an expert or master at this, but I do strive to balance schoolwork and studying the teachings. I would say is to be mindful of your mindset or mentality that you have when it comes to balancing both. It's really nothing to balance. When you think, when you begin to understand that studying God is studying life and is living life, then you will stop categorizing the different aspects of your life and realize that the work that I'm doing in school and the work that I'm doing and the things that I do for fun and studying God or studying the teachings, like all of this coincides with each other, because God is the creator of the heavens and the earth, and he created all of us and everything. So how could I be living life and studying anything and it not relate back to God? It does. So that's one thing to keep in mind. Also realize that once you make up in your mind that you desire to live a peaceful life, you will desire to live a happy life. And once you desire to live a happy life, you will realize that to do so you will need to live a righteous life. And as you desire to live a righteous life, you will begin to want to know what that means and what that looks like. And as you and the only way for you to learn that is to begin to study the teachings more and more and more. And so you will naturally, as you live, you will naturally come across questions that you want the answers to, and the only way to find them is for you to study. And so just be mindful of that. Just realize that just be mindful of your questions and find the answers. You don't have to make time to find the answers. You're going to naturally make time because you're curious. When you have a question, you are going to want to find the answer. So that's just what I do. Like, I have, like, just as I've gotten older, I've just had questions, like legitimate questions about stuff. Questions about everything. And whenever I have a question, I realize that, you know, some way, somehow, the minister, the messenger, has spoken on it. It's in the Holy Quran, it's in the Bible, it's somewhere within the teachings. So I just find the answer, and typically I know exactly where it's at, and I'll just have to be like, oh, let me go read that book. But then if sometimes I don't know where to find this answer, but I know it's somewhere. So that's when I, you know, rely on, you know, I talk to my parents, or I talk to my aunts and uncles to help me find the answer. So just approach it. It's all about your approach. If you approach it like, I have questions, I need answers, you will look for those answers in your study. The next thing I would say about that is to don't be hard on yourself. Don't think that, you know, you're not studying unless you read or you watch a whole lecture, or you read, you know, an entire book in a certain amount of time. No, just take it day by day and just make it in your mind and feel good about doing something. So sometimes we have in our mind like, oh, I'm going to watch this whole lecture today. And then you don't watch it and you get caught up in everything and you say, okay, well, I'm going to watch it tomorrow. And then you get caught up in everything and you're like, okay, no, I'm going to watch it the next day and the next day. And then eventually you keep on putting it off to the point where you never do it. Like, you just never do it. But and that could be one of the most depressing feelings, because you sit a week or 2 weeks later after having said you're going to keep on doing it, and you realize that if you had just watched 5 minutes of it, 10 minutes of it, you would have been done, and you would have been significantly more, you would have had significantly more knowledge and understanding in something than if you had done that, as opposed to having this big ambitious goal to finish an hour or 2 hour lecture in one day. Now, and this is a good tactic to do, because you will find that if you just put in your mind to do something and study something every single day, no matter how long, you will realize that you will naturally, your yearning and desire to study will increase more and more and more. And you'll find that 5 minutes is turning into 50 minutes, or it may even turn into 5 hours. You will begin to go on this journey through studying, because the thing is, the more questions you have, the more answers you find, and as you find answers, you kind of end up having more questions about other stuff, and then you find more answers, and you kind of just go on this journey. And so that's the advice I would give. I study something every day, and some days are longer than others, but I just make up in my mind that I have enough time. Like, I do, and you just, you know, have to prioritize it. Another thing I would, and that helps me, you know, I would like to study more. So, you know, and it's just all about prioritizing. And I know that I do need to study more. So, you know, hopefully I can, and, you know, grow more in the future, and a lot more time for it. You can untypical, it may not be the typical, like, everything's not going to be perfect. You're not necessarily going to be like, oh, I sat at my dining room table and I had a cup of tea and I studied for X, Y, and Z long. No, like, sometimes it's going to be, okay, oh, I have time during lunch. Okay, well, that's a good 30-45 minutes. I can read, you know, I could read a couple chapters of this book by Sister Ava. Or, you know, oh, I already finished all my work in this class. I have my book in my book bag. Now I can study. You know, so sometimes, you know, you just got to try to, like, fit it in where you can. That's what I do. That's what I did. Like, all through high school, I always had a book with me in my book bag. And I will always use free time during school to study. And that really helped me. Do you feel you're more religious or spiritual? I would definitely say spiritual. With that being said, those are all the questions. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And inshallah, God willing, I will talk to you later. Bye.